Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And today we're talking about the best way to get your hands on allocated whiskey.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
Today we're talking about how you can get your hands on allocated whiskey, or at least I think the best way to get your hands on allocated whiskey. But first, we got to do the first sip, which is a new segment we're doing where it's a single blind sample, or it's a double blind sample of a single sample instead of our double blind head-to-heads. Sounds very confusing, but it's not. If you look at our double blind head-to-heads, there's two products going head-to-head. As the name suggests, this is just a single product that we're reviewing blind.
And this is a product that we have never tried before, whereas our
Right.
double blinds, we might have tried them before.
Yeah, we almost always have because we're trying to think of interesting matchups and we need to know what it tastes like so we know what it compares well against, and then it pops up and we don't know what it is. With this, we have no clue because we've never tried any of these things before, unless it's a different single barrel version of something we might have tried before, but
we don't know.
But single barrels vary so much, it could taste totally different. So we randomly selected one of the samples from our pool, and we're going to get this poured and get right into it and give you our opinions on the taste. And we'll talk a little bit about price, value, availability.
While you're pouring, I'm going to smell.
All that stuff.
Ooh, it smells like apple, green apple.
Just straight up green apple?
Straight up green apple.
Really strong green apple,
Yeah, you get that too?
Yeah. I had this recently too, like a green apple Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Like it just smells like a sweet hard candy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was the last episode we filmed, and it was Bardstown Fusion 5 that smelled like this on the nose.
I don't think you said Jolly Rancher, but you said green apple.
I think I did. And this is the way my brain works. I wish I had Bardstown Fusion 5 and whatever this is to compare next to each other blind to see which one smells more like green apple.
This smells sweet. I'm going to taste it.
It smells very, very concentrated, fruity, artificial sweetness.
Ooh, it tastes very fruity, artificial sweetness. Kind of good though. Kind of like it. It reminds me of like lemon Fruit Loops, like the yellow Fruit Loop in the Fruit Loops box.
I could kind of get that. I was leaning more towards like the cherry candy on the palate, but I could go Fruit Loops with you.
Yeah.
I feel that. It doesn't have that dustiness, that cereal grain of Fruit Loops.
But the flavor.
But that kind of concentrated artificial flavor, that the brightness of the lemon, I think I'm getting more of a combination of the apple cherry together that's giving that really bright note. I got to go in for one more sip.
Okay, me too. Yeah, I just get like lemon Fruit Loops. Makes me want to have Fruit Loops now for breakfast, but we don't have any.
Yeah, it is very good flavor-wise. It's a little thin on the palate. There's like a lingering faint oak on the back end that just kind of sticks around.
It's not too much though.
Which is really nice. It's subdued, but it's present. It doesn't just completely disappear.
Yeah.
I think my only gripe with this glass would be that it's just a little thin. Tastes a little on the watery side.
A little bit.
Other than that, it is quite enjoyable. You ready to give this thing some rankings?
Yeah.
All right, where you at? Tell us. Nose flavor experience. What do you think?
It gets a thumbs up on the nose. It does get a thumbs up on the flavor, but it gets just okay on experience. Because for as like flavorful as the nose was and the taste was, the experience, like you said, it was kind of a little bit watery.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I would rank it the exact same way. Thumbs up on the nose for that really bright sweetness. Thumbs up on the flavors, again, for that very bright sweetness. And it's a just okay on the experience, but it is pretty close to getting thumbs up on the experience because that oak does stick around. I just want a little bit more from it. And I don't even mind that it seemingly is coming across a little lower proof. I just wish it didn't have that thin aspect to it.
Right.
I'd prefer a little bit more weight to it.
Yeah, I agree.
But good product. Whatever it is, I'd absolutely be happy owning a bottle of it.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
Yeah.
All right, let's find out what it is.
All right.
Whoa. Bowman Brothers small batch. 90 proof.
I've never heard of it.
That has more spice, more of a lingering finish than I would have thought for Bowman Brothers. Shout out to Barry Hawk for the sample of Bowman Brothers small batch. I'm going to get a bottle of this. If you're somebody out there that's looking for Buffalo Trace, we're talking about allocated whiskey, and you can't find Buffalo Trace, go get some Bowman Brothers.
Oh, really?
John J. Bowman. We have those we have a single barrel of John J. Bowman, which is a $50 single barrel bottle at 100 proof, which is a little bit more of an experience than this.
Okay.
Kind of corrects what this is lacking for us. However, Bowman Brothers takes Buffalo Trace distillate and they take it out to Virginia and they run it through their copper pot stills and or whatever they do out there in Virginia. Who knows what they do out there in Virginia? And then they age it out there, and it starts life as Buffalo Trace distillate though, because they're all owned by the same company. And this actually tastes very Buffalo Tracy. So I think these are actually pretty inexpensive. I think a Bowman Brothers is like $30. Pause. Bowman Brothers 90 proof, like $35, $33, $35, $37, kind of that middle 30 range.
Yeah.
I will buy a bottle of this.
That's
now that I've had it.
Good price, yeah.
Yeah, this is the type of whiskey that I could sit around and drink when I just didn't want to think about it and just wanted some general sweetness. And this is also the type of whiskey that would work great on like a hot summer day if you're going to be outside. Or I think it's a great intro whiskey for a guest who has dabbled in whiskey a little bit. There's probably other things I would choose because that oak does really linger around on the finish. Faint, but it's there.
Yeah.
But man, shout out to Bowman Brothers. I knew I loved the John J. Bowman single barrels, but I never tried the small batch. This really impressed me. Thanks, Barry, for this sample, man.
Thanks, Barry.
Very cool. All right, let's get into our topic.
Okay.
Which is finding allocated whiskey.
All
We've
right.
done plenty of videos on alternatives to allocated whiskey. We've even done videos in defense of allocated whiskey.
We have.
But we have not done a specific video on how to get your hands on allocated whiskey. But we kind of have. So check the video description below to see what we feel about supporting your local store. We talked a lot in that video about what supporting your local store means and how it might be able to pay off for you in way of allocated whiskey. There's a few ways you can get your hands on allocated whiskey, and I'll just rifle them off real quick. You can wait in lines if you want to do that, if you have the time. You can enter raffles online or in person. A lot of stores around here do it in person where you have to sign your name on a list and then they just randomly pick, or you have to go and wait in line to get a ticket to then do the raffle, or you can overpay. You can go to a store that has allocated whiskey that's been marked up, say they have Buffalo Trace, which should be a $30, $25-$30 bottle max, and maybe they have it on the shelf for $50. Or maybe they have Eagle Rare, which is a $30 or $35 bottle. Maybe they have it marked up to $50 or $70. You can go do that. You can go find a store that will sell you blends for $300 with enough legwork. And they'll sell you a $60 whiskey for $300.
Yeah, they will.
And you can pay it. But let's say you don't want to do any of that stuff.
Okay.
I'm too busy. I don't have time to go wait in lines. Not fun for me. It might be fun for you. By all means, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
It is a fun aspect of the hobby.
If you get
like
enjoyment
it.
from doing that, then by all means do it. We just don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I do enter raffles every year. Try to get whatever I can get. Hopefully luck's on my side. Had a great 2020.
You did.
Had a not great 2021. That's the way it goes.
It's where the cookie crumbles.
Exactly. And then overpaying is just something I don't do.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend any more than I have to pay on a bottle, and I'm not going to pay any more than a bottle's worth.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, a lot of the markups just, the whiskey's not worth that if you put it in blinds. That's what our blind head-to-heads are all about. I want to talk to you guys today about what I think is the single best way to get your hands on allocated whiskey. You may not get exactly what you want. You may just get the opportunity to buy something that is hard to find as the opportunities present themselves. And that is, as we've kind of alluded to already, building relationships with store owners. Now, we have a local store, geographically the closest store to us that we support, and it just so happens to be a family-owned affair. So absolutely love supporting those guys. I go there 3-4 times a month at least. I talk to the owner. He grew up around the area. Like, it's fun to go in there and chat with him, chat with the staff, get to know the people, and genuinely build that relationship, not to get allocated whiskey, but when you go in there and you do that, you're building that relationship. They're going to offer you stuff. They're going to say, hey, I got this in. It's in the back. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And you can say yeah or no.
Yeah.
You know, you can even ask them, like, what's your price point on it? And you can't do that with every store unless you got a ton of free time on your hands. So how do you do this with stores if you don't have the free time to drop into a store 3 or 4 times a month? Or, you know, you probably are going to have to drop in at least a couple few times a month to be able to make this impact. This is going to sound really crazy. This is a little bit of trickery here. but you need to be memorable. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. The way I do it is that I work at a place that I have to wear a uniform for, and it's a very distinct, recognizable uniform. And when I go to a liquor store, I go after work and I wear my uniform in there.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that walks through the door that they see in that uniform a few times a month.
They might not know your name, but they know your uniform.
I'm confident that half the staff there doesn't even know my name. They just know me by my uniform, and they know that I always come in on
After
this
work,
night
yeah.
after work.
Yeah.
That's just what I do. I don't care if you're the guy who wears a t-shirt and a necktie, or maybe you wear like a bolo tie every time you go in, or you constantly wear your sports team hat and jersey and you go in there and you're always talking about the game, even not to the point of being obnoxious, but like be memorable in some way, you know? Don't just be another face showing up asking for allocated whiskey, because I promise you they get enough of those.
Well, and I think what you also do, you go in there and you buy other stuff. Like you buy wine for us on the weekends. Like you don't just go in there and ask about certain whiskey and then leave. Like you you do our shopping there. Right.
That's a great point. So if you're going to go in and ask for allocated whiskey, I would not ask unless you have something else in your hand. We have found a $9.99 bottle of red wine that we like to have with meals. And if I'm going to ask for something allocated, I go and grab that bottle of wine before I ever ask. But a lot of times I just go in to chat bourbon and nerd out with these guys. And then if they have something cool in, they'll let me know.
Yeah.
And I don't have to buy anything else. I'm not having to buy everything or something every time I go in. It's legitimately just relationship building, and I like supporting them because they're a local business, and we covered that in that episode. You can see it all there.
Yeah, we go into way more detail on that episode.
Yeah, but just honestly be memorable. Separate and apart from that store, we have another friend who is a bourbon broker here in town who had partial ownership in a store, and I talked to him about this very topic, and I was like, what is it that, how do you decide? How do you determine? You see so many people coming in asking for this and that and the other. How do you remember who everybody is? And he told me, honestly, I usually don't remember names, and I only remember the faces of the people that come in regularly, and they're always talking to me. If you're able to be more memorable, even if that means the guy that wears a top hat and a monocle in to go buy a bottle of wine and some bourbon, so be it. I don't care if you look like a fool. Be memorable.
Yeah.
Be memorable, be genuine about building the relationship, and I promise you it will open up doors. I don't always get exactly what I want, but I get the opportunity to buy things that store gets because of that.
Yeah.
And then for everything else, there's the raffles.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into other stuff.
Okay.
What do we have this week?
We have the wonderful artistic masterpiece of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Which is a television show, if you don't know.
We're talking about being memorable.
Yeah.
We're talking about maybe being a little zany and silly to be memorable.
Yes.
I promise you, if you watch this channel and you like this channel, and you're not just tuning in on this one video to find out how to get your hands on this stuff, you'll love Ted Lasso. Even in one of our live streams, I got called the Ted Lasso of whiskey too. Which was a huge compliment because I absolutely love Ted Lasso and I love that show.
Jason Sudeikis is amazing.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV. Look, here's what you do, okay? Find a friend that has an Apple TV login that you can use if you want to go that way.
Yeah.
Or honestly, just treat yourself to 1 month of Apple TV.
And then binge it.
You're going to binge it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to not watch it.
And at this point, I'm not sure when the next season will come out, but at this point, there's only 2 seasons out.
Season 2 just wrapped up. This is Jason Sudeikis. If you like any of his comedy or any of that even style of comedy, this is his baby. And it's about a soccer team, but there's very little soccer involved. Like you're not going to sit around and watch a show about soccer.
No.
It's a heartwarming, slightly brash, kind of irreverent, but also very. It would almost be family friendly if it wasn't for a lot of the language.
Yeah.
In particular from Roy Kent, who is a masterpiece of a role. He won some kind of award for that role.
Emmy. I think.
Amazing.
Because Emmy's for television, right?
Yeah. It is well worth the price of Apple TV to watch this thing.
Absolutely.
Front to back. It's got feels. It's got tons of laughs. We cannot recommend it enough. It's one of the best things we've seen on TV in a long time.
And we watch a lot of TV, so. I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. And if you like watching a lot of this channel and you want even more, then check out the video description below. You'll see the link to our Patreon down there. Not only do you get 2 episodes here on YouTube from us, but Patreons get 2 additional episodes every week. We call them Stuff and Whiskey Uncut. It's a little bit more laid back, end of the night, in our PJs, having a sip, being relaxed, uncut, unfiltered.
Yeah.
Just us living life, hanging out with you guys, sipping whiskey together. It's a ton of fun. Check it out down there. You can also see the upcoming dates for our the upcoming date for our next live stream, because we do one a month. And that's a ton of fun as well. We hang out, sip whiskey together, just like in our videos.
Like a virtual happy hour.
Absolutely. We have a ton of fun. Be sure to check that out and join us.
Yep. And if you haven't, subscribe to our channel so you can see all these videos. We put, like Josh said, we put out twice a week. So keep coming back. And if you haven't liked this video, give it a thumbs up.
Till next week, guys. Cheers.